Buddhism has always been in a weird place for me. One could consider it to be a philosophy, or one could consider it to be a religion. Some people that come from an Abrahamic faith have also adopted Buddhism. There were a lot of Jews that fell in love with Buddhism after World War II ended, and I know several Christians that have also adopted parts of Buddhism. Buddhism is a non-Christian path. This means that Buddhism is technically pagan by the Christian definition of the word. But I do not consider it to be pagan. I consider it to be its own thing. It is like the Hungarian language. The Hungarian language is a Uralic language in the middle of Europe. The Hungarian language is just doing its own thing. Buddhism is off doing its own thing. I do not consider Buddhism to be pagan, but I do support Buddhists. I have talked to many Buddhists over the years, and I have never had an issue with them. I also respect Buddhist monks. I know there are some Western pagans that don't like Buddhists for whatever reason, but I am not one of them. However, I do have an issue with the Buddhist philosophy. Buddhism is like the Abrahamic faiths. I do not see much of a difference between Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. Obviously, there are some differences between these faiths, but they all have the same core. The core of all these faiths is suffering, and this is my main issue with them. You only have one life to live. Nobody knows what happens after passing away. You could be reincarnated, you could stay in the ground, or something else could happen. I don't know what happens, nor do I pretend to know what happens. I will be just as surprised as everybody else when my time is up. And this is why I refuse to subscribe to these paths. I want to live in the present. I want to live life. But none of these religions or philosophies care about the present. They care about what happens to you after you have passed away, and they all promote suffering in the present. A real Buddhist is heavily restricted in what they can do in their life. A real Christian, Jew, or Muslim is heavily restricted in what they can do in their lives. Some Christians take Christianity so seriously that they won't even watch TV. The idea for these paths is that you suffer now so you can be rewarded in the afterlife. In Buddhism, you get rid of your worldly belongings and try to obtain enlightenment. If you are successful, then you don't have to be reincarnated, but there's no guarantee that any of these paths are correct. I don't know about Buddhism, but there's more than enough evidence to start questioning the legitimacy of the other three paths. Whatever created the universe and created everything else that is here, it has allowed humanity to do whatever it wants. It's not stopping people from using the Earth's natural resources. It must know what the natural resources can be used to make, but it doesn't stop people from doing whatever they want with them. This basically means that the universe has given the green light for anything and everything, whether it is good or bad by human standards. So there's no real reason to restrict yourself to a life of suffering in this life. Karma is a thing, so you should treat people properly. But other than that, you should have the best life that you can and not force yourself to live in a cave somewhere staring at a wall. Unless that is something that you want to do, I don't judge. All I'm trying to get at is that there is nothing wrong with enjoying modernity, although I know that there are many pagans that would disagree with me. I consider all four religious and philosophical paths to be the suffering paths. If people are willingly choosing these paths, then that is cool. But I personally dislike the restrictions. I would rather live in the present and deal with whatever comes my way, instead of living for an afterlife that may or may not be real. I want to talk more about why I don't consider Buddhism to be pagan, but I decided to leave the rest of what I was going to talk about for the next video in my Western Civilization series that I am currently working on. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic day or night.